Welcome to the lands of science fiction stories. I wish you a pleasant listening experience.
The interstellar port of Nymedia bustled with the chaos of travelers, merchants, and starship crews. Beneath the shimmering dome that protected the port from the harsh vacuum of space, retired Captain Jackson Vargo maneuvered through the crowd, a mix of excitement and trepidation in his heart. This was supposed to be a simple trip, a leisurely cruise on the luxury liner Stellar Oasis to celebrate his retirement. Little did he know fate had other plans. Jackson, a rugged man in his late 50s with a grizzled beard and silver hair, paused to check his boarding pass. He adjusted the collar of his leather jacket, a relic from his days as a cargo hauler, and looked around for the correct boarding gate. The port's holographic signs flickered occasionally, making navigation a challenge even for seasoned travelers. He approached a sleek, silver-haired attendant standing next to an impressive ship, the Astral Serenade The vessel gleamed under the port's artificial lights, its hull covered in intricate designs that shimmered with a soft blue hue. Jackson glanced at his ticket once more, then at the ship. "Excuse me, is this the Stellar Oasis *?" he asked. The attendant, a young woman with a professional smile, glanced at his ticket and nodded. "Yes, sir. Please proceed to the boarding area." Jackson gave a nod of thanks and stepped through the gate, the automated doors hissing closed behind him. He walked down the ramp into the ship, his boots echoing on the metallic floor. As he entered the main corridor, he marveled at the opulence around him, polished metal walls, plush carpets, and softly glowing lights that created a serene ambiance. The ship was strangely quiet. He had expected a throng of passengers, but the corridors were empty. Shrugging off the oddity, he made his way to his cabin, which, to his delight, was even more luxurious than he had anticipated. A king-sized bed, a private viewport, and a minibar stocked with exotic drinks from across the galaxy awaited him. "Retirement is starting off pretty well," he muttered to himself, dropping his duffel bag on the bed. He poured himself a drink and gazed out the viewport as the ship began its ascent into space, the port gradually shrinking into a speck behind them. A soft chime interrupted his reverie, followed by an automated announcement. "Welcome aboard the Astral Serenade *. We will be departing shortly for our 10-year voyage to the Andromeda sector. Please ensure all personal items are secured." Jackson nearly choked on his drink. 10 years? Andromeda sector? Panic surged through him as he rushed to find someone, anyone, who could explain the situation. He burst into the corridor just as the ship's engines roared to life, the subtle hum of faster-than-light travel thrumming through the walls. As he turned a corner, he collided with a group of stunning women, their skin a mesmerizing shade of blue, adorned in elegant gowns that clung to their lithe forms. They stared at him in surprise, their eyes reflecting the ship's ambient light. One of them, a tall woman with flowing silver hair, stepped forward. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice melodic yet firm. Jackson Vargo. I think I boarded the wrong ship. I was supposed to be on the Stellar Oasis *, he stammered, his mind racing. The woman's eyes widened in recognition. "You're not supposed to be here. This is the Astral Serenade *, a specialized research vessel. Our mission is long-term. There's no way to turn back now." Jackson felt a sinking feeling in his stomach. "So I'm stuck here? For 10 years? The woman nodded sympathetically. "I'm afraid so. I'm Captain Alara of the Astral Serenade *. These are my crew members." Jackson looked around at the gathered women, each one strikingly beautiful, their blue skin giving them an otherworldly allure. It seemed like a dream, or a nightmare, depending on how one looked at it. Alara placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We'll find a way to make this work. You'll be part of our crew now." Jackson sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I guess I don't have a choice." As the ship hurtled through the cosmos, Jackson's unintended adventure began, surrounded by a team of brilliant and beautiful researchers, each with their own secrets and stories. Little did he know, this accidental voyage would lead to discoveries far beyond his wildest dreams and challenges that would test his resolve like never before. The days turned into weeks as Jackson settled into his new life aboard the Astral Serenade *. The crew was a diverse group of scientists, engineers, and explorers, each contributing their expertise to the mission. Despite the initial shock, Jackson found himself gradually adjusting to the rhythm of life on the ship. Captain Alara took him under her wing, showing him the ropes and assigning him tasks that suited his skills. He spent his days assisting with various projects, from maintaining the ship's systems to helping with research experiments. The work was engaging, and he found a sense of purpose in contributing to the mission. The crew members, initially wary of the unexpected addition to their ranks, began to warm up to him. He formed a close bond with Lyra, a biologist with a sharp wit and a passion for uncovering the mysteries of alien ecosystems. She often dragged him along on her excursions to unexplored planets, their shared adventures bringing them closer. One evening, as the ship drifted through the serene expanse of space, Jackson found himself in the observation lounge. The room was bathed in the soft glow of distant stars, and he gazed out at the infinite universe, lost in thought. Alara joined him, her presence a comforting familiarity. "Quite a view, isn't it?" she said, her voice breaking the silence. Jackson nodded. "I've seen a lot of stars in my time, but nothing like this. It's peaceful." Alara smiled. "That's one way to look at it. Some find it lonely, the vastness of space." "Yeah, I can see that too," Jackson admitted. "But it's also a reminder of how small we are, how much there is to explore." Alara leaned against the railing, her gaze distant. "That's why we're out here, to explore, to understand, and maybe, just maybe, to find our place in all of this." Jackson turned to her, curiosity piqued. "What about you? Why did you become a captain?" She hesitated, as if choosing her words carefully. "I've always been fascinated by the unknown. Growing up, I was captivated by stories of explorers and pioneers. When the opportunity came to lead this mission, I couldn't say no. It's a chance to make a difference, to contribute to something greater than ourselves." Their conversation was interrupted by the ship's alert system. Alara's communicator beeped, and she glanced at the message. "We've arrived at our next destination, an uncharted planet in the Zeta Prime system. Preliminary scans show signs of life." Jackson's eyes lit up with excitement. "Another adventure?" Alara chuckled. "Always. Come on, let's see what awaits us." As they headed to the bridge, Jackson couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. The Astral Serenade was more than just a ship. It was a gateway to endless possibilities. And in this vast, uncharted universe, anything was possible. The journey to the uncharted planet in the Zeta Prime system filled the Astral Serenade with a sense of eager anticipation. The crew prepared for the unknown, their excitement tempered by the need for caution. Jackson found himself swept up in the energy, his earlier misgivings replaced by a growing curiosity. As the ship approached the planet, the main viewport displayed a breathtaking view. The planet's surface shimmered with a verdant hue, covered in lush forests and sparkling bodies of water. The atmosphere was a rich blend of gases, indicating it was likely breathable for humans. Captain Alara stood at the helm, her eyes focused on the data streaming in from the ship's sensors. "Prepare for landing," she instructed, her voice calm and authoritative. "We'll be setting down in a clearing near what appears to be a large ancient structure. Scans indicate it might hold significant archaeological value." The Astral Serenade descended smoothly, its thrusters gently lowering it to the ground. The landing ramp extended, and Jackson, along with a small team of scientists and explorers, stepped out into the fresh, alien air. The landscape around them was stunning, a dense jungle teeming with vibrant flora and fauna, the sounds of exotic creatures filling the air. Lyra, the biologist, was already collecting samples, her eyes wide with excitement. "Look at these plants," she exclaimed. "They seem to have bioluminescent properties. This ecosystem could hold countless new discoveries." Jackson couldn't help but smile at her enthusiasm. "Just make sure nothing bites you," he teased, earning a playful glare from Lyra. The team made their way through the jungle, following Alara's lead. The ancient structure loomed ahead, partially obscured by vines and foliage. It was made of a smooth, dark stone that seemed to absorb the light, its architecture unlike anything Jackson had ever seen. As they approached, the ground beneath their feet trembled slightly. Alara raised a hand, signaling the team to halt. "Be cautious. There could be unstable ground or hidden traps." Jackson felt a thrill of adrenaline as they cautiously entered the structure. The interior was cool and dark, illuminated by the soft glow of their portable lights. Intricate carvings adorned the walls depicting scenes of an ancient civilization, figures engaged in rituals, celestial bodies, and what appeared to be a starship. "This place is incredible," Lyra whispered, her voice echoing in the vast chamber. "It feels like we've stepped into another world." Alara nodded, her expression serious. "Let's document everything carefully. This could be one of the most significant discoveries of our mission." As they explored deeper into the structure, Jackson felt a growing sense of unease. The air seemed to thrum with an unseen energy, and the carvings on the walls took on a more ominous tone, depictions of conflict, disaster, and a great exodus. They reached a central chamber, dominated by a massive, crystalline structure that pulsed with an eerie light. Alara approached it cautiously, her eyes scanning the readings on her handheld device. "This crystal is emitting a high level of energy. It could be some sort of power source." Jackson felt a strange pull towards the crystal, as if it were calling to him. He reached out a hand, and the crystal responded, its light intensifying. Before he could touch it, Alara grabbed his arm, pulling him back. "Don't! We don't know what it could do," she warned, her grip firm. He nodded, shaking off the odd compulsion. "You're right. Let's document this and get back to the ship." As they made their way out of the structure, Jackson couldn't shake the feeling that they had awakened something ancient and powerful. The jungle around them seemed to close in, the once welcoming environment now feeling more like a trap. Back on the Astral Serenade, the team gathered in the briefing room to discuss their findings. The atmosphere was tense, the excitement of discovery mingled with the uncertainty of what they had encountered. Alara stood at the head of the table, her expression thoughtful. "We've discovered something extraordinary, but also potentially dangerous. The crystal appears to be a power source, but its exact nature and purpose are unknown. We need to proceed with caution." Lyra nodded in agreement. "We should analyze the samples and data we've collected. There might be clues about the civilization that built that structure and what happened to them." Jackson leaned back in his chair, his mind racing. What if that crystal is still active? Could it pose a threat to us or the ship? Alara met his gaze, her eyes steady. "That's why we need to understand it. We'll conduct our research carefully and take all necessary precautions." The days that followed were a flurry of activity as the crew analyzed their findings. The ancient civilization appeared to have been highly advanced, with technology that surpassed anything in known space. Their downfall, however, seemed to be linked to the very power source they had created. Jackson spent long hours in the lab, assisting the scientists and learning more about the artifacts they had recovered. He felt a growing sense of connection to the mission and the crew, his accidental presence on the ship transforming into a purposeful journey. One night, as he was reviewing some data, Lyra joined him, her expression thoughtful. "I've been thinking about that crystal. It's almost as if it has a consciousness of its own. The way it reacted to your presence, it's like it recognized you." Jackson frowned, the memory of the crystal's pull resurfacing. "You think it was trying to communicate?" Lyra shrugged. "Maybe. Or maybe it sensed something in you, something that resonated with it. We need to be careful, but also open to the possibilities." Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent call from the bridge. "All hands to the bridge. We've detected an anomaly." Alara's voice came over the intercom. Jackson and Lyra hurried to the bridge where the rest of the crew was already gathered. The main view screen displayed a swirling vortex of energy, pulsating with a chaotic intensity. "What is that?" Jackson asked, his heart pounding. Alara's expression was grim. It's a spatial rift, and it's growing. If we don't act quickly, it could engulf the planet, and us with it. The crew sprang into action, their training and expertise coming to the fore. Jackson found himself at the engineering console, working alongside the ship's chief engineer, a stoic woman named Zara. "We need to stabilize the rift," Zara explained, her hands flying over the controls. "If we can channel the energy from the crystal, we might be able to neutralize it." Jackson nodded, his mind focused. "Tell me what to do." The next few hours were a blur of frantic activity as they worked to harness the crystal's energy. The ship's systems strained under the load, but the crew's determination never wavered. Jackson felt a deep sense of camaraderie, the bond forged through shared adversity. Finally, with a burst of effort, they succeeded. The rift began to stabilize, its chaotic energy subsiding. The crew let out a collective sigh of relief as the immediate danger passed. Alara turned to Jackson, her eyes filled with gratitude. "You were a big part of this. We couldn't have done it without you." He smiled, feeling a sense of pride and belonging. "I'm just glad I could help." As the Astral Serenade resumed its journey, the crew reflected on their experiences. The discovery of the ancient civilization and the near catastrophe had brought them closer together. Their mission to a king on new meaning. For Jackson, the accidental voyage had become a path of discovery, not just of the universe but of himself. He realized that retirement wasn't an end, but a new beginning. And in the vast expanse of space, surrounded by his newfound friends, he felt truly at home. As the Astral Serenade continued its journey through the cosmos, Jackson found himself increasingly integrated into the crew's daily routines. Each day brought new challenges and discoveries, and Jackson relished the chance to contribute to the mission. The once unfamiliar faces of the crew had become friends, their camaraderie deepening with each shared experience. Weeks turned into months, and the crew's exploration of uncharted planets yielded astonishing finds. The ancient civilizations they encountered provided a wealth of knowledge, their remnants telling stories of grandeur and tragedy. Jackson's role often involved assisting in the excavation and analysis of these sites, his natural curiosity and practical skills proving invaluable. One such expedition led them to a desert planet, its surface dotted with the ruins of a long-lost city. The heat was oppressive, the sun a relentless blaze in the sky. Yet despite the harsh conditions, the team pressed on, driven by the promise of discovery. Jackson and Lyra worked side by side, carefully uncovering artifacts buried beneath the sands. As they dug deeper, they unearthed a massive stone tablet covered in intricate carvings. Lyra's eyes sparkled with excitement as she began to translate the ancient script. "This tablet tells the story of a great war," she explained, her voice filled with awe. "It speaks of a powerful weapon, something called the Celestial Hammer, that was capable of immense destruction." Jackson frowned, his mind racing with possibilities. "Do you think this weapon still exists?" Lyra shrugged. "It's hard to say, but if it does, it could be incredibly dangerous." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden tremor beneath their feet. The ground shook violently, sending sand and debris flying. Jackson grabbed Lyra's arm, pulling her to safety as a massive chasm opened up nearby. "Everyone back to the ship!" Ilara's voice crackled over the comms. "We've triggered a seismic event. We need to evacuate immediately." The team scrambled to gather their equipment, the ground continuing to shake. Jackson and Lyra helped each other navigate the treacherous terrain, their hearts pounding with adrenaline. As they reached the safety of the ship, Jackson glanced back at the ruins, a sense of unease gnawing at him. Back on the Astral Serenade, the crew reviewed the data they had collected. The seismic activity had been triggered by their excavation, revealing a network of underground tunnels and chambers. Alara's expression was serious as she addressed the team. "We've uncovered something significant," she said. "The tunnels lead to a central chamber, which appears to house the Celestial Hammer. We need to proceed with extreme caution." Jackson felt a shiver run down his spine. The thought of an ancient, powerful weapon being within their reach was both exhilarating and terrifying. "What's our plan?" Alara nodded. We'll send a small team to investigate. Jackson, Lyra, Zara, you're with me. We'll take a shuttle and see what we can find. The descent into the tunnels was tense, the atmosphere heavy with anticipation. The narrow passages were dimly lit by their portable lights, the walls covered in ancient glyphs and symbols. As they approached the central chamber, the air grew colder, a palpable sense of foreboding settling over them. The chamber itself was vast, its ceiling lost in shadows. At the center stood a massive ornate pedestal, upon which rested a crystalline object that pulsed with an eerie light, the celestial hammer. Alara approached it cautiously, her eyes scanning the readings on her device. The energy readings are off the charts. This thing is incredibly powerful. Lyra stepped closer, her curiosity overcoming her fear. It's beautiful, but also dangerous. We need to find a way to safely contain it. As they discussed their options, Jackson felt the same strange pull he had experienced with the crystal on the jungle planet. The celestial hammer seemed to call to him, its energy resonating with something deep within. He reached out, his fingers brushing against the surface of the crystal. Instantly, a surge of energy coursed through him, overwhelming his senses. He saw flashes of ancient battles, worlds consumed by fire, and a figure wielding the celestial hammer with devastating force. The visions were so vivid, so real, that he could feel the heat of the flames and the weight of the weapon in his hands. Alara's voice broke through the haze, her hand gripping his shoulder. "Jackson, let go! It's too dangerous!" He stumbled back, gasping for breath, the visions fading. I saw everything, the destruction, the power. We can't let this fall into tears. He wrung hands. Alara nodded, her expression grim. We need to secure it and get back to the ship. Zara, prepare a containment field. As they worked to safely transport the celestial hammer, Jackson couldn't shake the feeling that their discovery had set something in motion, something that could change the course of their mission and their lives. Back on the Astral Serenade, the crew worked tirelessly to analyze the celestial hammer. Its power was immense, but so were the risks. The ancient texts spoke of its potential for both creation and destruction, and the crew was determined to understand it fully before making any decisions. Days turned into weeks as they studied the artifact, their progress slow but steady. Jackson found himself increasingly drawn to the research, his connection to the celestial hammer growing stronger. He spent long hours in the lab, poring over data and consulting with Lyra and Zara. One night, as he reviewed their findings, Lyra joined him, her expression thoughtful. "You've been spending a lot of time here," she said, her tone gentle. Jackson sighed, rubbing his temples. "I can't help it. There's something about this artifact. It feels personal." Lyra nodded, her eyes filled with understanding. "I know what you mean, but you need to take care of yourself too. We can't afford to lose you." He managed a weak smile. "Thanks, Lyra. I'll try to get some rest." As he made his way to his quarters, Jackson couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of a major breakthrough. The celestial hammer was a mystery, but also an opportunity, and he was determined to see it through, no matter the cost. The following weeks brought new challenges and discoveries. The crew's research revealed that the celestial hammer was more than just a weapon. It was a key to unlocking untapped energy sources, capable of powering entire planets. But with great power came great responsibility, and the risks were ever present. One day, as they conducted a critical experiment, the ship's alarms blared. Alara's voice came over the intercom, urgent and tense. "We have an incoming ship. It's not responding to our hails." Jackson and Lyra rushed to the bridge, where the crew was already at their stations. The viewscreen displayed a menacing vessel, its design sleek and predatory. It bore the markings of a notorious pirate fleet known for their ruthless tactics. "They're after the celestial hammer," Alara said, her expression resolute. "We need to defend the ship and protect the artifact at all costs." The Astral Serenade went into high alert, the crew readying themselves for battle. The pirate ship closed in, its weapons charging. Jackson felt a surge of determination, his earlier fears replaced by a fierce resolve. The battle was intense, The Astral Serenade using all its defensive capabilities to fend off the attackers. Jackson manned one of the ship's gun turrets, his hands steady as he targeted the enemy. The ship shook with each impact, the crew working together seamlessly to repel the threat. After what felt like an eternity, the pirate ship retreated, its hull damaged and weapons disabled. The crew let out a collective sigh of relief, their exhaustion mingling with triumph. Alara turned to Jackson, her eyes filled with gratitude. "We did it. We protected the ship and the Celestial Hammer. But we need to stay vigilant. There will be others who will come for it." Jackson nodded, his mind racing with the implications. The Celestial Hammer was a powerful asset, but also a target. Their mission had become more dangerous, but also more important. As the crew regrouped and repaired the ship, Jackson reflected on the journey so far. The accidental voyage had transformed into an epic quest, filled with danger and discovery. And he knew deep in his heart that they were only just beginning. The Astral Serenade continued its journey through the stars, the crew united by their shared purpose and determination. Each day brought new challenges, but also new opportunities. And Jackson, once a reluctant traveler, had found his place among them, ready to face whatever the universe had in store. The days and weeks following the pirate attack were filled with a renewed sense of purpose aboard the Astral Serenade. The crew worked tirelessly to fortify their defenses and further their research on the Celestial Hammer. Each member played a critical role in ensuring the safety of the ship and the continuation of their mission. Jackson, now deeply integrated into the crew, found himself growing closer to his new family. Shared experiences and mutual respect had forged bonds stronger than he had ever anticipated. He spent long hours with Lyra and Zara, their friendship blossoming amid the endless expanse of space. One quiet evening, Jackson found himself in the observation lounge once again, staring out at the sea of stars. The room was bathed in the soft glow of distant galaxies, and he felt a deep sense of calm wash over him. Lyra joined him, her presence a comforting familiarity. "Can't sleep?" she asked, her voice soft. Jackson shook his head, a faint smile on his lips. "Just thinking about everything we've been through. It's hard to believe how much has changed since I boarded this ship by accident." Lyra nodded, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "It feels like a lifetime ago, but in a way, it's brought us all closer together. We've become more than just a crew. We're a family." Jackson felt a warmth in his chest at her words. "I couldn't agree more, and I'm grateful for it." Their conversation was interrupted by a soft chime, signaling an incoming transmission. Ilara's voice came over the intercom. "All hands to the bridge. We have an urgent situation." Jackson and Lyra exchanged a glance, their earlier tranquility replaced by a sense of urgency. They hurried to the bridge, where the rest of the crew was already assembled. The view screen displayed a distress signal from a nearby planet. "It's an SOS," Alara explained, her expression serious. "A research outpost on the planet Glacius Prime is under attack by an unknown force. They're requesting immediate assistance." Jackson felt a surge of determination. "We can't ignore it. We have to help them." Alara nodded. "Agreed. Set a course for Glacius Prime. Prepare for possible combat." The Astral Serenade altered its course, the engines roaring to life as the ship sped toward the icy planet. The crew readied themselves for whatever awaited them, their resolve unwavering. As they approached Glacius Prime, the extent of the destruction became clear. The outpost was in ruins, smoke and fire visible even from orbit. "We're too late," Lyra whispered, her voice filled with sorrow. Alara's eyes narrowed. "Not yet. There could still be survivors. Prepare for a ground mission. Jackson, Lyra, Zara, you're with me." The shuttle descended to the planet's surface, the cold biting through their suits as they stepped out into the frozen wasteland. The outpost was eerily silent, the only sounds the howling wind and the crunch of snow beneath their boots. They moved cautiously, their weapons at the ready. As they searched the wreckage, they found signs of a fierce battle, scorch marks from energy weapons, shattered equipment, and the bodies of fallen researchers. Jackson felt a deep sense of anger and sadness at the sight. These people had been defenseless, caught in the crossfire of a conflict they hadn't asked for. They found a small group of survivors huddled in a makeshift shelter, their faces pale with fear and exhaustion. Ilara approached them, her voice gentle yet firm. "We're here to help. Can you tell us what happened?" One of the survivors, a woman with haunted eyes, nodded shakily. "It was a raiding party. They came out of nowhere demanding access to our research data. When we refused, they attacked. They were looking for something powerful." Jackson exchanged a glance with Ilara. "The celestial hammer." Ilara's expression hardened. "We need to get you all to safety. The Astral Serenade will provide medical assistance and transport you to a secure location." As they escorted the survivors back to the shuttle, Jackson couldn't shake the feeling that their mission was becoming more dangerous with each passing day. The celestial hammer was drawing attention from all corners of the galaxy, and they were caught in the middle. Back on the ship, the survivors were given medical treatment and a place to rest. The crew gathered in the briefing room to discuss their next steps. "We need to find out who these raiders are and what they want with the celestial hammer," Ilara said, her tone resolute. "Our mission is too important to be derailed by these attacks." Zara nodded in agreement. "We should also consider relocating the artifact to a more secure location. The ship might not be the safest place for it anymore." Lyra looked thoughtful. "We could reach out to our allies in the Intergalactic Council. They might be able to provide additional security and resources." Jackson felt a surge of determination. "Whatever it takes, we need to protect the Sile, style hammer, and continue our mission. We can't let these raiders win." The crew agreed, their resolve stronger than ever. They reached out to their contacts in the Intergalactic Council, arranging for a secure transfer of the celestial hammer to a fortified research facility. The council responded swiftly, sending a team of highly trained security personnel to assist with the transfer. As the day of the transfer approached, the crew prepared meticulously, ensuring that every detail was accounted for. The tension was palpable, but their determination never wavered. They knew that the safety of the artifact and their mission depended on their success. On the day of the transfer, the Astral Serenade rendezvoused with the Council's transport ship, a heavily armed vessel designed for maximum security. The transfer itself went smoothly. The artifact carefully moved under the watchful eyes of both crews. As the Council ship departed with the celestial hammer, Jackson felt a mix of relief and apprehension. The immediate danger had passed, but the threat was far from over. They had made powerful enemies, and their mission was only becoming more perilous. The following weeks were a blur of activity as the crew continued their exploration and research. Each new discovery brought them closer to understanding the mysteries of the ancient civilizations they encountered, but also revealed new dangers and challenges. One day, as the Astral Serenade traveled through a particularly remote sector of space, the ship's sensors picked up a strange energy signature. It was faint but consistent, emanating from a nearby star system. The crew gathered in the briefing room to discuss the anomaly. "This energy signature is unlike anything we've encountered before," Zara explained, her eyes scanning the data on the holographic display. "It's fluctuating in a pattern that suggests it might be an artificial source." Ilara nodded thoughtfully. "It could be another artifact or remnant of an ancient civilization. We should investigate." Jackson felt a thrill of anticipation. "If it's anything like the celestial hammer, it could be incredibly valuable. Or dangerous." Lyra added, "We need to proceed with caution. But this could also be an opportunity to learn more about the technology and history of these ancient peoples." With a course set, the Astral Serenade headed towards the source of the signal. The journey took several days, during which the crew prepared for any eventuality. Jackson spent his time in the lab with Lyra and Zara, reviewing the data and discussing potential scenarios. As they approached the system, the energy readings grew stronger and more defined. The source was located on a small, barren moon orbiting a gas giant. The moon's surface was covered in craters and rocky outcroppings, with little to suggest any signs of life or civilization. The Astral Serenade descended to the moon's surface, landing near the source of the energy signature. The landing party consisted of Jackson, Lyra, Zara, and Alara. They donned their environmental suits and exited the ship, the harsh, airless landscape stretching out before them. Using handheld scanners, they made their way across the rocky terrain towards the energy source. As they neared a particularly large crater, they found the entrance to a subterranean complex, hidden beneath layers of rock and dust. "This must be it," Alara said, her voice crackling over the comms. "Stay alert and proceed carefully." They entered the complex, their lights cutting through the darkness. The walls were smooth and metallic, covered in strange symbols and glyphs. The energy signature grew stronger as they descended deeper into the structure. At the heart of the complex, they found a massive chamber filled with machinery and devices that hummed with power. In the center of the room stood a large crystalline structure, similar in appearance to the celestial hammer, but with a different, more refined design. "This must be the source," Lyra said, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's beautiful." Zara scanned the crystal, her brow furrowed in concentration. "The energy levels are stable, but there's something else. I'm picking up a faint signal, almost like a communication beacon." Alara approached the crystal cautiously. "Let's see if we can interface with it. There might be valuable information stored within." As they worked to establish a connection with the crystal, Jackson felt the same strange pull he had experienced before. The crystal's energy seemed to resonate with him, drawing him closer. He reached out, his fingers brushing the surface. Instantly, his mind was flooded with images and sensations, flashes of ancient cities, advanced technology, and a race of beings unlike any he had seen before. He saw their rise to power, their achievements, and their eventual downfall. Alara's voice brought him back to reality. "Jackson, are you okay?" He nodded, shaking off the disorienta.